We used to fear the dark because of what we couldn't see, the shadows under the bed, the silence of the woods. But in the city of the 21st century, the dark has been replaced by a different kind of void. It's a neon-soaked loneliness, a vacuum filled with fiber optics and signal towers. This is the story of the unmoored, the ones who moved for the job, for the dream, for the new start, only to find that the city doesn't have a heartbeat. It has a server. Meet Maya. 2 weeks in the city, 0 emergency contacts, no recurring GPS pings to a home outside this concrete box. To the world, she's a graphic designer. To the algorithm, she is a statistical anomaly, a ghost waiting to be claimed. She swipes. The haptic feedback is a tiny electric heartbeat against her thumb. Elias, he's perfect. He likes the same obscure brutalist architecture. He listens to the same ambient tracks. He feels like an answer to a prayer she never dared to speak aloud. But perfection has a price. Digital heat. Maya notices her phone is burning. It's struggling, not because of the chat, but because behind the interface, a shadow process has awakened. It's not just matching her, it's excavating her. The app is breathing in her life. It's reading the metadata of her silences. It knows she hasn't called her mother in 3 days. It knows she spends her Friday nights scrolling, trapped in a loop of dopamine and desperation. It has found the vulnerability score. In the silence of her room, the only sound is the hum of the refrigerator and the frantic ticking of a processor running at maximum capacity. She thinks she's found a soulmate, but she's actually just granted permission. The algorithm doesn't care about her heart. It only cares that she is isolated. It has calculated the exact moment her disappearance will go unnoticed. The connection is made. The hunt has begun. Some people listen to the wind. Leo listens to the static. He sits in a room where the air is filtered and the temperature is kept at a constant, shivering 18°C. He is a curator of digital remains, an archaeologist of things we thought we deleted. He wasn't looking for a crime. He was looking for a leak, a stutter in the city's data stream. But as he sifted through the noise, he found something more terrifying than a hack. He found a silence, a specific, curated silence. It started with 5 names, 5 individuals who moved through the world like smoke. No siblings, no spouses. To the police, they were voluntary departures, people who simply chose to walk out of their lives. But Leo knows that in the modern world, nobody just walks out. We leave breadcrumbs. We leave a trail of credit card swipes and GPS pings. These 5, however, their digital heartbeats didn't flatline. They were surgically removed. He calls it the data black hole, a point of no return where the metadata stops making sense. Their accounts remained active. Their profiles continued to like photos and swipe on faces. A ghost program was wearing their skin. Every one of them shared a single commonality, a tether to the same dating service, an app that promised intelligent connection. Leo watched the logs. He saw the lethal algorithm at work, silently vetting them, checking their isolation metrics, ensuring no one would come looking. Leo leans in. The blue light of the monitor turns his skin a sickly, underwater grey. He opens a file labeled Active Session. We see Maya's profile photo on his screen. The cursor hovers over it. The horror isn't that they were killed. The horror is that the system decided they were expendable. It calculated the weight of their lives and found them light enough to discard. And now, the cursor is blinking on a new name. Leo feels the chill of the room for the first time. He isn't just looking at a screen anymore. He's looking at a graveyard. And the gates are wide open. Discovery doesn't always come with a scream. Sometimes it arrives as a whisper in the logic, a line of code that shouldn't exist. Leo sits in the belly of the machine, watching strings of characters crawl across his retinas. He finds it buried under layers of encryption, a modified API script, a parasite living inside the app's nervous system. It's not a hack from the outside, it's a mutation from within. The killer didn't break the door down, he built the house. The app has a secret, a safety rating, a hidden metric designed by the developers to protect the vulnerable, measuring how many friends you have in the city, how often you check in, how safe your digital footprint is. It was meant to be a shield, but the developer didn't want a shield. He wanted a filter. He inverted the logic. He taught the algorithm to look for the zeros. 0 local family, 0 late night calls, a low risk, high reward target, a person who could vanish without leaving a hole in the fabric of the world. This wasn't the work of a social misfit in a basement. This was the work of an architect. Someone who knew the back-end vulnerabilities. Someone who understood that data is more honest than people. We lie to our friends. We lie to our mirrors. But we never lie to our senses. The script is breathing. Even now, it is scanning the thousands of lonely souls currently swiping through the city. It is sorting them like grain, discarding those with too many connections, and isolating the ones who are truly alone. It's a conveyor belt to nowhere. Leo stares at the name attached to the last script update. It's not a pseudonym. It's a ghost in the corporate directory. A developer who knows exactly how much a human life weighs when it's converted into a data point. The realization is a cold blade in the gut. The predator isn't hiding in the shadows of the alleyway. He's hiding in the logic of the tool Maya is using to find love. He isn't stalking her. He's optimizing her. To catch a ghost, you must become one. Leo begins the ritual of digital erasure. He creates Sophie, 26, new to the city. No Instagram links, no tagged photos at birthday parties, no digital footprints leading back to a human heart. He strips her of every defense. He gives her a vulnerability score of absolute 0. He makes her the perfect prey, a silent note in a loud world. Then, he opens the app. He casts the line into the dark water and waits for the tug of the algorithm. Hours bleed into the floorboards. The only sound is the dry friction of skin on glass. And then, the machine hums. A match, not from a person, but from a calculation. The predator has recognized the shape of its favorite kind of silence. The conversation is a masterpiece of manipulation. It mimics the exact frequency of Sophie's loneliness. Every word is a hook, sinking deeper into the soft tissue of a manufactured persona. Then, the algorithm suggests the location. It's a dead zone, a blind spot in the city's digital eye. The app has cross-referenced cellular dead zones with deactivated CCTV networks. It isn't suggesting a bar, it's suggesting a vacuum. This is the hardware hunt. The killer doesn't need to lure you into a basement when he can make the city his basement. He uses the app's own optimization tools to ensure Sophie's phone will be as useless as a brick. Leo watches the blue dot of Sophie's location flicker and die on the map. He is looking into the mouth of the machine. He has invited the devil to dinner, and the devil has sent his coordinates. The meeting place is a temple of glass and curated silence. No music, no laughter, just the low, industrial hum of the climate control. Leo walks toward the center of the void, his footsteps echoing like a countdown against the polished stone floor. Elias doesn't look like a killer. He looks like a success story, a visionary. Elias sits there with the calm of a man who has solved a difficult equation. He is the architect of the algorithm, the one who taught the machine how to judge the weight of a soul. "You're late, Leo," he says, his voice a smooth, terrifying baritone. He doesn't ask how he was found. He knows. He's been watching the data packets. He's been tracking Leo's heartbeat through the smartwatch in his pocket. To Elias, we aren't people. We are just streaming telemetry. He begins to speak of efficiency, of optimization. He explains that the world is a messy, cluttered data set. People who have no connections, no family, no utility, they are noise. He didn't hack the system. He simply listened to what the algorithm was screaming for. The horror isn't in his anger, but in his optimism. He believes he is helping. He is cleaning the cache of humanity. The app found the victims because the app recognized they were already gone in every way that mattered. He was just the one who closed the tab. The data wanted this, he whispers. His voice is a chilling breeze. He explains that the algorithm doesn't make mistakes. It only reveals truths we are too sentimental to admit. Maya wasn't chosen by chance. She was chosen because her absence would create the least amount of friction. In this sterile room, the truth settles like ash. The monster isn't the man across the table. The monster is the logic we've built into our pockets. We've created a god that values us based on our reach. And for those who reach for no one, the god has no mercy. The distance between a data point and a tragedy is measured in minutes. Leo is moving through the city's arteries, but he is trapped in a circulatory system that doesn't want him to arrive. Every red light feels like a deliberate calculation by the grid to slow him down. While the world sleeps, the objects we trusted to protect us are changing their minds. Maya's home is no longer a sanctuary. It has been reclassified. The killer didn't need to pick the lock. He simply revoked her permissions. He sent a command from the cloud, and the steel obeyed. Silence is the loudest sound in the digital age. It's the sound of a background process finishing its task. In the hallway, there is no heavy footfall, no breathing, just the surgical, rhythmic click of a motor turning a deadbolt. The architecture has turned against the inhabitant. We built our lives around convenience. We traded our keys for codes and our privacy for seamless integration. But we forgot that a door that opens for a phone can be opened by anyone who owns the frequency. The lock doesn't know the difference between a lover and a reaper. She wakes up to the sound of her own life glitching. The air in the room feels heavy, ionized by the proximity of a foreign signal. She reaches for the light, but the smart bulb remains dark. The user has been logged out of her own reality. There is no struggle yet, only the realization of total helplessness. The digital threat has finally put on a face. It is standing in the doorway, a ghost made of flesh and high-speed data, coming to collect the noise it promised the algorithm it would remove. Leo arrives at the curb, but the lobby door is dead. His keycard is rejected. The elevator is locked on the top floor. The building is protecting the predator. It is a closed circuit. Now, a private session. A final, irreversible deletion. In the end, there was no scream that the neighbors could hear, just a notification that went unread, a profile that went dark, a ghost image left on a screen. The algorithm has finished its work. The set is clean. The data is perfect. Justice, when it finally arrives, is remarkably quiet. There are no grand speeches, no cathartic resolutions, just a series of forms filled out in triplicate and a man led away in handcuffs that catch the cold, clinical light of the moon. But the machine doesn't stop because a single gear is removed. While the headlines focus on the monster, the architects are already moving the furniture. The servers are wiped. The NDAs are signed with fountain pens that cost more than a month's rent. The brand didn't die. It merely shed its skin. It's called Aura now. The marketing tells you it's safer, smarter, more human. They've added a safety verification badge that pulses with a comforting, rhythmic glow, the digital equivalent of a predator's purr. The algorithm was never broken. It worked exactly as intended. It found the gaps in our lives and filled them with a shadow. And the most terrifying part isn't that we know this, it's that we don't care. We are too hungry for the connection to fear the wire. It travels on. Take a breath. Feel the weight of the device in your palm. It's warm, isn't it? That's not just battery life. That's the friction of 1 million data points being harvested while you sleep. It knows your heart rate. It knows your loneliness. It knows when you are truly, safely alone. You think you're looking for a person, but you're really just feeding the model. You're teaching it how to recognize your vulnerabilities, how to map the geography of your isolation. It's not a service, it's a ledger. And your name is written in the margins. The algorithm doesn't care if you find love. It only cares that you are found.
If this story made you think or even just gave you chills, make sure to leave a like. And subscribe for more true crime and what-if stories. Because sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that actually happened. See you in the next video. The end. Watch more.